Hello everyone and welcome back to School here in Kerbal Space Program .22. Still haven't updated to .23, but we'll see how that goes anyway. So, last time I ended saying that I had gathered a fair bit of science, but I needed a bit more to get any of the upgrades that we needed. I then proceeded to get quite a lot of science, such that I was able to actually unlock both aerodynamics and heavy rocketry. And there's a reason for that, because pretty much quite by accident, if we are ever able to leave here, okay, good, and head to the tracking station, I can show you what happened. This guy happened. Quite by accident, I managed to get out of, into a moonshot from Kerbin with enough fuel left, so just as an experiment, I gave it a shot and actually managed to get this guy into an extremely elliptical orbit around the moon. One side of which is at low lunar orbit. Well, not low lunar orbit, but reasonable lunar orbit, so that got me a whole ton more science, which allowed me to get a whole bunch of more parts, and yeah, there's a bit of debris lying around. So with that in mind, I have since upgraded the way that the launcher for the FRTs, the R's works. So it's got a couple less parts, still the same number of stages, and I'll show you exactly what I've changed when this loads up on the launch pad in its own time. Okay, so not much has changed here, but these are now staged to be separate to the inner four, so we get 2 stages completely on solid rocket fuel. The main engine here is a step down from the T-45, it's the T-30, which gets slightly better fuel economy. And then the main engine for the final section is the Poodle, which gets much better fuel economy inside of space. So, plus I have upgraded the top section to be using the new comms DTS, and I've added another Z200, which is basically 2 of these stuck together more or less, so I can just centralize the mass a bit more. And the idea is we are going to try and send this thing into orbit around the moon, lower orbit and more, what would the phrase, orderly orbit around the moon than what we presently have. So, with that in mind, gird your ears once again as we begin to fire. Once again, I really hope I don't have to turn down the volume for this particular clip at that point in time. So what'll happen is we'll just go straight up for the first stage, as usual, of these 12 large boosters. And then we're going to turn to about a 90-degree angle for the 4 inner ones, and then we'll use the T-30 to get us into orbit for the most part. But once the Poodle is out of the atmosphere, it is almost insanely efficient, so we should be able to manage an orbit around the moon from that. Okay, we're hitting the Mach effects now. And there they go, so let's get rid of those. Wait for them to get away from us a little bit. Okay, and let's get in position for our 90-degree burn. And go. Okay. At this point, I would like to switch over to here so that I can see what the hell's going on there. Okay, so we're still climbing. That's good. And being pointed the way we are should hopefully mean that we manage this better, but of course the big problem with the solid rockets is they have a lot of oomph, but you can't throttle them, so once you start exceeding where you need to be, you exceed it in a big way. Okay, so that is 50,000 and 60, and there's 70. Let's try to turn horizontal here so that we can minimize the damage this does. Yeah, that's going in a big way, but it is now finished. So let us point to our prograde and eject those. Let's just get away from those, okay. And now we need to get into an orbit, which shouldn't be very difficult, but except for when it does that. Okay, and around we go. Okay, 35, we really just need a 70. That'll do. And that puts us there for about, yep, 768. Usually takes closer to 1,000, but we're not going to complain about better fuel. And that is a 43-second burn, so that will take us 21 seconds either side. So let's get over there. Okay. And burn. Okay, now as usual, this is getting more fuel efficiency, but it's still taking a while because it's got a bunch of weight, and the Poodle is heavier than the T45 like it has been before. Doesn't really get much more power, but it is more fuel efficient, so we get more long-term thrust from it, more time spent. So let's see, we're halfway through already. 2/3. We should be hitting orbit soon. Oh, will this actually be a day where I manage to get this thing to work without a hitch? Okay, let's stop it there. So, 113, 79, perfect, good. And now we need to set up our moonshot, which is blissfully not over the moon landings from the last time we tried this whole thing. Okay, now we're not looking to get there we go, there's a periapsis. We're not looking to get a moonshot back, but if we can manage it, that would help us out a little bit later. Periapsis of 80, 79, 57. Yeah, I think that'll do. So if we manage to mess something up, we can thrust back and hopefully get back into a decaying orbit to Kerbin. The benefit of this being a robotic mission, if we absolutely have to, we can just crash land. And there's a weird part of Kerbal producing things, yeah. This whole shroud is attached to this section, but it's not even complete. Let me zoom in and take a look at that. Yee, look at that, that is funky. Maybe it's, I don't know exactly what is meant to be holding this on. Where's the top of this? Okay, that is a 30-second burn. That means we're going to need 19 seconds either side. So let's get over there. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slow down. We are also now on the dark side of the planet. Okay, let's straighten that up a little bit more. Okay, burn. And there goes our apoapsis. And it's now decided that our burn is longer, I think, I'm not sure. Oh no, we're right on, that's good. This is going to be running out of fuel soon. We should be able to get at least most of the way there on this thing. There we go. And that is the Poodle at work. Okay, that should do. And we do have an encounter which lasts for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes, half an hour, but that's good enough. So we are now extra-kerbinal. There's our debris, which will be orbital, so that's going to be stuck around the planet. We actually have a couple pieces that are stuck around the planet at the moment. Okay, let's get us outside. Let's see. Main thing I find is the Poodle is actually a lot larger than the rest of this thing. So it looks a little on the funky side of things. And there aren't any lights on this one, I'm afraid, so if we get into the dark side, we're going to be stuck there. are you, son? There you are. Yeah, there's the Poodle. And let me just put a maneuver node. Whip. My mouse is disconnected again. Hey, my dudes, that's very annoying. It always seems to do it when I'm scrolling for some reason. Beyond that, I'm not sure. Okay, let's add a maneuver node. Shuffle it to around there. Okay. And now I have a handy marker of where that starts. And we have a lot of fuel, partially because we sort of, I believe it's called asparagus staging, kind of, that we did there to improve the efficiency of our solid rockets. There's the moon. And then we just have this Poodle engine, which is a lot more efficient than the T-45 we were using before, even if it weighs a deal more. I don't know, it's something like 2 tons or something. I have a bad head for specific numbers. Although the one I do remember from Kerbals is 2868 kilometers for geostationary. Okay, 2 hours. We're going to be hitting it very soon. 1 hour. A few minutes. Okay. And we're still focused on the moon. Okay, so that's us. And we are going to need to first get rid of this thing because it's going nuts. First get into our encounter. And there's FRT1, R1, which did not end up being an R as it turned out. Is that the way I want to go? Yes, it is. Okay, we want a very low periapsis. 41, can we do lower? 30, definitely not 33, definitely not 33. 48. 37. 28. 7 I think is as low as you can go. 14, we will take a 14. And as a 13 second burn, you can just see how nice this Poodle is to have around here. Okay, and we can definitely manage that. And that is in 35 minutes. So let's speed along to that. So 32, 30, and 20, 15, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to be wanting to thrust around about 6. 10, 9, 8, 7, spin up. And the camera should shift as we get into an orbit. Okay, periapsis of 8,000 meters. The highest, I think, mountain on the moon is about 6,000. So 7,000 you're okay, 8,000 we should be absolutely perfect, although that is very little maneuvering room, isn't it? Okay, and our next move is to thrust around here so that we can pull that in and get us into a nice circular orbit. And it may be that I've just turned this thing into a lander, but we'll find out as and when. 11, 8... yeah, we'll take that. So that is a 4-second burn. We're going to have plenty of fuel. I may actually have to turn this thing into a lander because this is just too good. Or maybe I can just put it into a polar orbit later. That'd be a good thing, because then we can get all the different biomes. Okay, so let's pull that in again. Okay, 7,000. No, we want it way in. Closer than that. 30. 22. Okay, now the benefit of a polar orbit, in case I have... whoa, that's way too polar. In case I haven't explained it before, is that you are spinning around the planet in more or less the same positions, whilst the planet is rotating beneath you, creating the effect that you pass over every single part, and it is fantastic for scanning. Okay, that will probably be fine. We may want to burn a little bit more over here, just in case, but that should be fine. Which way are we burning for that? There we go. There is a small mod, I think it's improved navball or navball plus or something, which will add like a ghost of which direction, say, your maneuver node is, but we don't have it. There's a lot of mods we don't have for this, I suppose. Pretty much all of them, say for Universe Replacer. Okay, and that's going to take us 4 hours to get to. 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. I'm glad I'm not doing this with remote tech. Less than an hour. $13 So about 9-10 seconds, I think, is what we're going to be waiting for. And the maneuver that we are going to be performing to put us into a polar orbit is what is known as a plane shift maneuver. 2, 1. Okay. Getting in close. Seconds remaining. Okay, let's start thrusting. I need to be a little bit on the careful side of things. That may be as good as we'll manage, because I completely skipped over where I was supposed to be thrusting. But 20,000 will do us quite well, so we'll take it. And I'll thrust up a little more on the other side, because we just have the spare fuel anyway. 14, 17. Make it definitely safe, there we go. And that is our target, and that is, yeah, that is the orbit of R1. So, well, R2, technically. This is R3. Although it's the second robotic model first launch, whereas that's the first robotic model second launch. So, some interesting stuff. So that's just going to cost us a little bit of a delta V, and we've still got more than half the fuel in this Poodle. So if we could keep the mass, like the same volume of mass on the other side of it, we could quite happily have this thing. We could quite happily have this thing be a lander for a later manned mission to just plonk onto the surface. Okay, getting some science. In space, near the moon. We may actually have to go lower. But meanwhile, we are zipping overhead of the moon. I should actually keep some of this, because it looks like we're going to run out of charge, and I need to actually perform that maneuver soon. Cannot warp faster while below 10,000 meters. That's fine. Okay. Okay, our charge is going up now, that's good. So we're catching some light. But yeah, this Poodle engine. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that, I'm sure. 13, 12, 11, 10. This is the fine-tuning section of the video, evidently. We're at full power now. So let us get out our... other side. There you are. Transmit data. And that thing just looks cool. Okay, 6 minutes. Can we fly now? Yeah, we could, but there wouldn't be as much effect. And we'd waste some of our, admittedly not so valuable fuel at this point. Okay. Let's tweak it now then. That'll do. So, next question is, should we use the fuel to put this into a more polar opposite, or put this elsewhere? But it is now in a stable orbit. So, it's going to stick around here, and it's got solar panels galore, so it should have no trouble getting all of the stuff that we need to worry about, and beaming that back. It still says in space near the moon. I guess we had to go lower. But that is it. That is our first intentional Booner satellite, and it is also probably going to end up being one of our finest. So with that in mind, I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.